Hi everyone, it's Malcolm Roberts and I'm in Canberra at the moment. Otherwise I'd be with you all tonight at the dinner that Leith has organised. So hopefully we'll get there at a future event. But thank you very much, Leith, for inviting me to the dinner. And thank you especially to you and your team for all the wonderful work you're doing. Now yesterday we got a matter of public importance up in the Senate and I had an opportunity to speak to it, and Pauline did an absolutely fabulous speech detailing her own experience with the family law system. Now unfortunately my speech was delivered to me just before I read it, and I didn't know the timing, so I rushed. So I'm going to do it again because there's some really important data that I'd like you to see, like you to hear rather. So the MPI, the matter of public importance yesterday, was that Australia's failed family law system is contributing to at least 21 male suicides and 1 female murder a week and must be urgently fixed. One Nation is deeply concerned about the large number of avoidable deaths through suicide and homicide that are directly related to the broken system of family law that currently is a blight on the Australian legal system. Men on the tail end of broken relationships are at the end of their tether when they have limited access or no access to their children as a result of the confusion, excessive costs, and long delays that are a feature of the family law system in most of our country. Many of these men are not able to cope and become further victims of this oppressive system by taking their own lives as the only solution to the unbearable processes of marital breakdown and the forced tribulations of dealing with the family law court and sometimes not having their kids. There are multiple issues raised in this matter for discussion, ranging through the financial dramas of property settlements and child support, custody, guardianship, and issues related to access to any children of the relationship. It is this latter issue that often leads to the most grief for fathers, when the courts seem to take an often biased view of the father's needs and accept often unsubstantiated allegations aimed at limiting the father's access to his children. And with some of the experience I've seen with fathers, direct lies that are told to sometimes imprison people, imprison fathers, as a way of preventing them from getting access to their kids. And that's happened, I know it. The current system is broken and it needs to be fixed. The Australian Law Reform Commission, in their recently released report, has suggested that the family court merge with the Federal Circuit Court so that all these issues can be dealt with at the same place. The current practices of the family court have resulted in lengthy delays, dragging out an already flawed process. It can take up to and beyond 18 months to get to trial in the family court, and even longer to receive a decision of the court. Damaged relationships are being destroyed by the time and expense of resolving disputes in the family court. Domestic violence orders sought through the state systems are given out in many instances based on fabricated complaints, direct lies, made for the specific purpose of being used as a weapon to deny fathers access to their kids. Money-grubbing lawyers, and here's the real problem, money-grubbing lawyers acting for women do this for leverage against fathers in the divorce proceedings, either for revenge or to get more money in the property split. Now don't get us wrong. We recognise that domestic violence is real, but it operates in both directions. Dollar costs in the family court to get to trial average out at $110,000. Cheaper in the Federal Circuit Court, around $30,000. Now an example of a more efficient system is the Family Court of Western Australia, a state court separate from the Family Court of Australia. The model as operating in Western Australia is considered much more efficient, utilising magistrates with wide-reaching family-oriented powers. In WA, there is a 3-month turnaround on decisions, and the system is much cheaper in operation. User satisfaction is high there too. Suicide, I want to turn to that because it's a terrible cause of death of men and women in Australia, but mostly men. Of 1,966 coroner-certified suicides in 2017, that's 1,966, where psychosocial factors contribute, 1,465 were of men and 501 of women. Suicide is the leading cause of death of people under the age of 45. Can you imagine that? Leading cause of death of people under the age of 45. with men committing suicide 3 times the number of females. There were 420 people who suicided as a direct connection with disruption of family by separation or divorce. This is too many people who have taken their own lives because of the broken family law system that could not relieve their pain. Now, these numbers are shameful in our country. They relate to real people who would still be alive, whose needs for help were not met. The system must be fixed. And then there are the stories of true violence as a result of anger, generated in the area of domestic violence and not effectively dealt with through the family court. These were homicides, deliberate killings. In 2018, there were 375 reported homicides in Australia. Of these 375 murders, 140 related to domestic violence breakdowns. 75 women were killed as a result of family breakdown. However, 65 deaths were of males. Where are the protections that should have prevented these terrible deaths? What about the children left without a parent, and parents losing their adult children? And we see these problems as widespread, so widespread. And something to think about. This is portrayed as an issue of men against women. It's not that way. Quite often, grandmothers are denied access to their sons' kids, and that really hurts. So it's men and women losing, and above all, it's kids losing. Every time I go into the community, I constantly hear this as a major concern for people in the street and at all levels of our community, all professions. A better family law system will support and protect those affected by family violence and those vulnerable to its intrusive and coercive decisions. One Nation supports a complete review of the family law system to ensure the unnecessary death through suicides and murder in the context of broken family relationships can be resolved, can be ended. And I'm with Pauline because she is doing an amazing job of just pushing this government as hard as it can and dragging the Labor Party with us. So we're in there for you. We'll be thinking of you tonight. Enjoy your dinner. And although these facts are very sobering, we hope you can still have fun and get together and enjoy good company. Thank you very much, Leith.